On the news at 7, federal government to place Nigerians evacuated from Sudan into home universities of choice. Youth protest arrest of Bauchi traditional ruler. And from the forensic, young man kills 8 people at Texas mall. I am Timile Falade. Retirees in the Southwest Geopolitical Zone under the umbrella of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners have warned those pushing for the postponement of May 29 handover date to the President-elect Bola Tinubu to bury such suggestion in order to save the country from unnecessary constitutional crisis. The leadership of the NUP in the zone stated this in Akure, the Ondo State capital, after the zonal meeting, attended by the union's officers from Osun, Lagos, Ogun, Ekiti, Oyo, and the host, Ondo State. The pensioners, however, charged Tinubu to come up with policies that will improve their living standard, as demonstrated by outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari in the last 8 years, while commending good welfare packages the pensioners enjoyed under President Buhari. The Southwest's NUP leadership challenged Asiwaju Tinubu to give top priority to retirees' welfare. The NUP spokesman appealed to those speaking against May 29 date for Tinubu to take over to exercise restraint. The federal government has informed Nigerian students who were evacuated from war-torn Sudan of plans to secure placement for them in their respective courses in Nigeria with the support of Federal Ministry of Education. Head of Media, Public Relations and Protocols, NIDCAM, Abdulrahman Balogun, said the evacuees, the fourth batch of 131 persons, comprising 123 adults and 8 infants who arrived Abuja, were told that no Nigerian will be left behind in war-torn Sudan, as President Muhammadu Buhari has given the committee the necessary support to bring back home any willing Nigerians. He said more flights were respected as the government was about to conclude all the necessary clearance for them to take off. Balogun added that most of the students regretted the war situation in Sudan, thanking the federal government for coming promptly to their rescue, but pleaded that urgent steps be taken to hasten the evacuation of their colleagues still trapped in the war zone in Sudan. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed a 65% waiver on aviation charges to be given to airlines lifting pilgrims for the 2023 Hajj to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The waiver came at the instance of the closure of Sudan airspace occasioned by the raging war in the country, which invariably hindered the smooth transit of the commissioned carriers. With the closure of Sudanese airspace, airlines would be compelled to use another airspace where they would spend no less than 7 hours in the sky for a journey of 4.5 hours if the Sudanese airspace had been used. Chairman of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, Zekulai Hassan, who disclosed the developments at a meeting with stakeholders in the aviation sector, said the president considered the waiver to shore up arrangements for seamless Hajj airlift operation. 4 of the 5 approved airlines for the 2023 exercise refused to sign the contract agreement with NACON following the change in the routine and the consequence cost implication the development would cost them. Youths in Tafawa Balewa and Bogoro local government areas of Bauchi State have been back to the peaceful protest over the arrest and detention of the monarch, Ishaku Komo, and others by the Bauchi State Police Command. The protesters carried placards and leaves demanding the release of the monarch, who is popularly addressed as Gunza Select. He was alleged to have been arrested in connection with a recent communal clash in San community, which claimed the lives of over 75 persons and other property worth millions of naira. The highway linking Bauchi with Plateau at that axis was blocked by the youths in protest over the continued detention of the monarch. The Bauchi State Police Command, through its spokesperson Ahmed Wakil, said 7 people, including the traditional ruler, were arrested for investigation. Former Chief Judge of Nasarawa State Ahmed Ubangadi has emerged the new paramount ruler of the Egan Nation. Governor Abdullahi Sule, in a meeting with the leadership and members of the State Traditional Council of Chiefs in Lafia, announced the selection of a new Aaron Egan. The former Chief Judge was selected by 2 of the 3 surviving kingmakers and ratified by the Traditional Council of Chiefs and approved by the Governor. Justice Ubangadi retired, succeeds late Dr. Bala Angbazo, who died in July 2022. To strengthen and catalyze national security mechanisms towards an improved policing system, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has ordered the strategic posting of 86 Deputy Commissioners of Police and 206 Assistant Commissioners of Police. They are to be drafted to various zonal commands, state commands, and formations to deputize other senior ranking officers in the discharge of critical administrative, investigative, and operational policing duties for an effective and citizen-led policing system nationwide. Baba, while reiterating the commitment of the force's leadership to continually embark on initiatives to improve internal security in Nigeria, charged the newly posted officers to ensure a commitment to service and respect for fundamental rights. The Inspector General of Police assured the general public of unhindered drives in all areas to effectively police Nigeria and strengthen the nation's internal security in line with the call to duty for the betterment of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the renewal of the term of office for the Chairman, Executive Secretary, and members of the Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund (NPTF) for a final term of 3 years. It will be recalled that President Buhari in May 2020 approved the appointment for an initial period of 3 years. Press Secretary to the Minister of Police Affairs, Osagbovo Ehesimen, said the renewal of the appointment, which takes effect from May 19 this year, is in pursuance to the NPTF Establishment Act 2019. He listed members of the NPTF board with renewed term of office as Chairman, Executive Secretary, and the representative of the Federal Ministry responsible for police matters, justice and finance, budget and national planning, among others. Still on security matters, the Benue State Security Council has disclosed of plans to provide strategic phones and internet-based communication gadgets to enhance transmission of intelligence to security operatives to check criminality occasioned by recent influx of headers. Deputy Governor of the state, Benson Abono, disclosed this shortly after the state security meeting, faulting security operatives' approach to the attacks, which he called reactionary rather than proactive. About 3 weeks ago, the Security Council suspended operations of the livestock guard for a 2-week period to enable herders who came in illegally with cattle to take them out, but the situation has continued to worsen. You're still watching OSRC News at 7. We'll take a quick break now. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. You're still on to OSRC News at 7. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. Birthday is important in one's lives as it is an annual celebration for the renewal of one's existence, a time to reflect on the past year and look forward to the future. It is in line with this that staff of Ondo State Ministry of Information and Orientation organized a surprise birthday get-together for the commissioner, Miss Bamidele Ademola Olateju. It turned 57. The surprise birthday celebration had in attendance management staff of the ministry and friends of the celebrator. Our correspondent, Kunle Ariyo, reports.
It has been a roller coaster year of successes for Yeyoba Bamidele Ademola Olateju, the Commissioner for Information and Orientation in Ondo State. An accomplished, experienced and strategy-driven media consultant, Ademola Olateju has seen various highs as she has expanded the business of information management, dissemination and orientation into new areas. These, among other achievements, no doubt spurred the management of the ministry to organize a surprise birthday celebration for her as she turned 57. The celebration held in her office featured prayers and quoting of her birthday cake. The Ondo State Information Commissioner appreciated all well-wishers for the avalanche of wishes and encomiums showered on her. She rededicated her life to the fighting of the cause of girl child and women's interest in order to occupy their rightful position in society. Ademola Olateju also promised to continue promoting the Yoruba Omoluabi ethos as it is sine qua non for sanity in society.
What I look forward to is to do more of what people say I do, to impact lives, to change lives, to bring support to people, to give hope, to be a sterling example for the girl child, that for a woman, you can be anything, you can grow up to reach your highest potential.
The state spokesperson appreciated Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SAN, and promised to continue to use a good office to pursue all that is favorable and promote Yoruba culture. The administrative secretary of the ministry, Mrs. Tony Onishile, described the commissioner as honest, transparent, as well as a go-getter with great accomplishments.
She's a go-getter. She's an achiever, a selfless woman, a committed woman to any cause she believes in. She's kind, she's honest, and she's hardworking.
Also, the Director of New and Electronic Media in the ministry, Mr. Williams Olufumin, eulogized the Commissioner for her giant strides in the area of information management and dissemination.
Honorable Commissioner has shown great strength and commitment in delivering on her mandate, and this you can see with the passion with which she is running the affairs of the ministry.
Yeyoba Bamidele Ademola Olateju is a technology expert with over 30 years experience in creative writing and social media strategy development. Kunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
Christian faithful have been admonished to desist from any form of sin in order to manifest the glory of God. The admonition was given by the senior pastor of the Sure Mercies Ministries USA, Reverend Toyi Ayola, at the annual anniversary Thanksgiving of the United Apostolic Church of Christ's Mount of Mercy in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Joy Pius reports that the theme for 2023 anniversary is tagged His Glory. We apologize for our inability to bring the reports. We'll take a quick break on the news. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. The remains of late Mrs. Abigail Ajabo have been committed to Mother Earth at her residence in Okakoko. The deceased, who died at the age of 72, was said to have been a lover of peace and one who lived a life worthy of emulation. Joy Pius reports that guests from far and near graced the occasion.
members of late Mrs. Abigail Ajabo, alongside well-wishers and friends, gathered at the St. David's African Church, Okia Okakoko, for the final burial of the deceased. The officiating minister, Reverend Festus Oluwasegun, charged believers to live an impactful life they will be remembered for.
Now say, take an impact before your departure. There can no be so. The philosopher in the world said, a life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives.
The remains of late Mrs. Abigail Ajabo were later committed to Mother Earth at the church cemetery. Family members and well-wishers eulogized the deceased as a kind-hearted woman.
Olùfọkànsìn Ọlọ́run ni. Ó sin Ọlọ́run, ó mọ Ọlọ́run. Kò dẹ̀ fẹ́ ohunkóhun tó lágbára. Kò fẹ́ ohunkóhun tó le. Kò fẹ́ ìjà. Ó mọ ẹbí, ó kó ẹbí papọ̀. Àdúrà mi ni fún ìyá ni pé Ọlọ́run tẹ́ wọn sí afẹ́fẹ́ rere.
She loves unity. Oh, she doesn't like where there is misunderstanding. She doesn't love it. She doesn't like it at all. Anytime you see Mama talking, she always talking about peace, 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 and unity.
Because I usually see Mama anytime he comes to the church there. Even the dancing step for Mama alone was something that got the attention of a lot of people in the church. So, but we miss her. But one thing we understand is that everybody one day will go. But we thank God for the life well spent.
And I really appreciate the kind of children that she left behind. She led them in the way of the Lord. And that is the most important thing in the life of a man.
Guests were thereafter entertained. Late Mrs. Abigail Ajabo was born to the families of late Ba Ologunagba and late Mrs. Idowu Okiti in 1951. During her lifetime, she was a successful farmer and engaged in cocoa and yam plantations, which made her to stand out among her contemporaries. She was a dedicated child of God and well known as Mama Alafia in her lifetime. Madam Abigail Ajabo, who lived for 72 years, breathed her last on the 7th of March this year. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Nigerian advertising executive in Puerto Ndukwe Onoha has become the first African to be elected councillor for Macworth at New Zealand Ward in Derby City, UK, under Labour Party. Onoha's success in the election is a testament to his dedication, hard work, and commitment to serving the community. Began his journey to becoming a councillor when he moved to the United Kingdom in 2021. He settled in Derby and quickly became actively involved in the local community, joined the Labour Party, and started campaigning for the party in local and national elections. As a councillor, Onoha hopes to make a positive impact in the community by working with local businesses and community organizations to promote diversity and inclusion of minority ethnic groups, economic growth, and job creation. Onoha's election as a councillor is a significant achievement not just for him, but for the Nigerian and African community in the UK. The head of an anti-monarchy group who was arrested before a protest at King Charles III's coronation has been released from police custody. Republic, which wants an elected head of state, said its chief executive, Graham Smith, was released some 16 hours after he was first detained. He was one of more than 50 people he held, using new powers rushed into law this week by the UK government to crack down on protests by direct action groups. London Metropolitan Police was criticized for making the arrest, which included volunteers of a local women's safety team and that of a force support. A gunman has shot and killed 8 people shopping at a mall north of Dallas, Texas. Hundreds of people were evacuated from the island premium outlets mall as eyewitnesses described the man firing indiscriminately at passers-by. A U.S. police officer on an unrelated call killed the gunman after hearing shots. Some of the victims are reported to be children, as at least 7 people are being treated in hospital. Environmentalists in Mexico have raised fears over a damaged ecosystem in the Dama Blanca region following a rail line project by government. The government, however, argues that the project will bring modern connectivity to areas that have for generations been deprived of significant economic benefits. Akintunde Akishimola has the detail.
Beneath the ground in Mexico's remote southern jungles are ancient cave systems known as cenotes. They form part of one of the most unique ecosystems in the world. Under the Dama Blanca cenote, environmental activists say that the ecosystem has been wiped out. From the entrance to the cave, you can see the alleged culprits. This ancient area has in recent years been home to the Tren Maya railway project.
Unfortunately, we saw how they razed the jungle that covered it. They left it unprotected.
Environmentalist Jose Uribe said the entrance to Dama Blanca was filled in parts of the train line construction. It was once, he said, an area rich in bats, vegetation and fish.
The functioning of the ecosystem of the cenote has been eliminated. As it's a jungle, the function it provided has been wiped out. Dama Blanca is dead.
Cenotes are formed when the surface limestone collapses to expose the crystalline groundwater. They have been the site of discoveries such as ancient human fossils and Maya artifacts. Last year, President Andrea Manuel Obrador said there are underground rivers or cenotes. There will be detour of bridges. The government argues Tren Maya will bring modern connectivity to areas that have for generations been deprived of significant economic benefits. It will connect Mexico's top tourist destination Cancun with ancient Maya temples. But the railway has deeply divided Mexicans, exemplifying the struggle that developing countries face when trying to balance economic progress with environmental responsibility. Akintunde Akishimola for SRC News.
Christian faithful have been admonished to desist from any form of sin in order to manifest the glory of God. The admonition was given by the senior pastor of the Shore Mercies Ministries, USA, Reverend Tony Ayola, at the annual anniversary Thanksgiving of the United Apostolic Church of Christ, Mount of Mercy, in Akure, the state capital. Joe Powers reports that the theme for 2023 anniversary is tagged His Glory.
It was celebration at the United Apostolic Church of Christ, Mount of Mercy, Akure, as it marked its annual anniversary. Members of the church, as well as invited guests, expressed their gratitude to God through melodious songs and dancing. Several inspiring ministrations from the choir of the church, Angel Voices, rented the air. While preaching on the glory of God, the senior pastor of the Shore Mercies Ministry, USA, Reverend Tony Ayola, emphasized the need for believers to work according to the scriptures to manifest God's glory as well as spread the gospel.
My message for the people is that everyone have a destiny, have a glory to fulfill. And the most important thing is we fulfill our glory in God, not outside God. So we serve Him so that He can manifest His glory upon us.
The senior pastor and general evangelist in charge of the United Apostolic Church of Christ, Mount of Mercy Akure, Prophet Idowu Alo, wife, and other members appreciated God for His faithfulness throughout the year and for another anniversary.
God is protecting us. God is sparing our life. It is not by our own doing. It is not by our power. It is never be our money or whatever. But it's by His grace alone. And therefore, I advise everybody that we should keep on appreciating God in any time, any hour, and in not minding the condition that we are presently. But we should be hopeful for better tomorrow.
I'm so happy. I appreciate God for what He has done in this anniversary. Even though I cannot say, that to say, Lord, I thank you for hitherto He has helped us in the family, in the church of God.
His glory is for those people that diligently seek Him. He doesn't give His glory to anyone just like that. But you have to serve Him and work for it before He will release the glory upon you.
We have learned a lot. We must not allow any other things to take God's glory away from us. The moment we have that glory, we should fight for the glory to stay with us. Nothing must take it away from us.
We give glory to God for everything because we started well. At the same time, we end well. We seek the favor of God. Actually, and God give us the fair weather. We thank God for that.
The anniversary, which commenced with a 14-day revival, ended with a renewed hope of fresh anointing and grace. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Before we go tonight, let's remind you that the federal government is to place Nigerians evacuated from Sudan into home universities of choice. We also informed you that the youth in Tafawa Balewa have protested the arrest of Bochi traditional ruler. And from the foreign scene, you heard that a gunman has killed 8 people at a Texas mall. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Good night.